Hi everyone, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Going to do a vinyl update for you today, vinyl finds video. Things have started to return to a semblance of normality here in the UK, although I don't think it's going to last. I think we're headed for a second COVID wave and God knows what, but the kids have gone back to school and I'm finding I've got more time to myself in the house, so been quite frustrated for a while with the records and the VC, just because I find I'm listening to music a lot but I don't have time to come on and make videos. I'd rather listen to records and then talk about them straight away. It's been very difficult to do that really, but hopefully we can get back to some semblance of doing that now. So just going to show you a few things I've picked up in the last couple of weeks. Grabbed a copy of the Todd album by Todd Rundgren. This came from Heightside Records, my excuse me, my local market stand chaps from West Yorkshire who come every Saturday, and this is a double album from 1970 something, 74. Got a feeling it was the follow-up to the Wizard True Star album, which was his psychedelic masterpiece. It's a double album, but it's one of these ones that don't have a gatefold, they just shove the two records inside. There's the back cover. This is a pretty far out record. It's probably not as far out as Wizard True Star, but it's still pretty... I always forget actually how experimental Todd Rundgren is. I think it's because the album I know best from him is the Something Anything record, which is reasonably sort of almost middle of the road really, but you know, he definitely had a very strong predilection for far out music, synth stuff, weird studio concoctions, and this record is no exception. I've listened to it once already on headphones, and it did blow my mind really. It was fairly, it was an adventurous experience listening to it. It takes you on a journey. What's on here? Heavy Metal Kids, which is a great heavy track. I mean, there's all sorts of bonkers stuff on it. Real sort of far out, just trippy, overdubbed, I like the way that Todd Rundgren, he made no pretense. When he made his records, there was no pretense that this was a kind of live thing going on, capturing a band live in the studio. The classic Rolling Stones, Keith Richards' attitude towards recording, which is perfectly valid, which is, you're trying to capture a moment in the studio. And the record is there as a kind of audio verite kind of experience. There's none of that with Todd Rundgren. It's a highly crafted, highly studied studio picture that you're listening to, a kind of oral soundscape, something which he's heard in his imagination and he's crafted it totally, round the bend really. The sound of a man almost so creative that he's almost losing his marbles. Really great. It really is about time I picked it up. So I'm glad I did. Okay, so the next one, really pleased with this one. This is a great record. I've not checked to see where it falls in their discography, but it's a fairly early one, 1975. This is Mother by Focus. And I've got 4 Focus albums already and I'm really getting into them. There's two bands at the moment that I'm getting really into, both of them progressive. We'll come to the next one in a minute. And one is Focus, and I've been watching, or I have watched, the videos that Jeff has made. Calico Silver has done videos on the guitarist Jan Ackerman, who's a really brilliant musician, and you've got Thies van Leer as well, keyboards, flute. This record is really, really nice. It almost sounds like library music at times. It's got that kind of very chilled out... there's a strange middle ground between prog rock, progressive rock, and almost easy listening music, or it's like a kind of weird laid back jazz fusion rock thing, which was around in the 1970s, and I find it really compelling. That just... rather than the sort of really full-on prog stuff, think of King Crimson, think of Yes, these bands who are very, very showy, and they just, they're always trying to bang you over the head with their musicianship. And Focus don't seem to be like that, at least not on this record. Like I said, it's got this kind of laid-back, mellow vibe to it, lovely kind of Rhodes pianos and beautiful guitar playing. And some nice songs as well. Side 1 has got a few songs and side 2 is mainly instrumental. The song I Need a Bathroom is really good. It's a real sort of, mellow and melodic pop song, but with some instrumental prowess thrown into the mix. Tropic Bird is really nice. Side 2, like I said, is mainly instrumental with this kind of, just this really nice sort of, like I said, lounge, prog, middle of the road, library music kind of vibe. Really good. Excellent. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Don't really know too much about the ins and outs of the Focus back catalogue. Need to do some digging and you know, find out how many more records I need to get. Now this is the other band that I've been getting into, and I'd say quite similar in that sort of mid-1970s kind of easygoing progressive music with touches of jazz, touches of pop, and it's Camel. And this is Rain Dances, which I'd only just bought on CD a while ago because I didn't particularly hold out any hope of finding Camel records, but I have started to find them now. I found another 2 or 3, but I'm still listening to those, so I thought I would just show this one today. This comes from, I think, 1979, and there was a lineup change on this record. Here's the inner. I think it was a lineup change. Brian Eno actually guests on this. Mini Moog, Moog, electric and acoustic piano and random notes. But also you've got Richard Sinclair on bass, who was in Caravan, I think. I know Roswell Ryan is really into him. Really, really nice bass player, very kind of smooth, melodic, harmonically rich, you know, really diverse, really virtuosic, but not in a showy way. And you've got Peter Bardens on this record still. Might have been the last record he did with them. Really, really nice. The track I really love on this record, I can't stop listening to it on my iPod, is Skylines, which is a fantastic instrumental. It's very filmic, you know, like a kind of soundtrack. Sounds like a sort of, you know, like a soundtrack to a forgotten 1970s TV series or a film maybe. And One of These Days, I'll Get an Early Night is a good track as well. That's got some prog touches. Highways of the Sun is a nice song. Camel have got this really interesting thing going where they make this music sometimes which sounds like music that should be on kind of, I don't know, promotional videos for some kind of futuristic, utopian kind of holiday resort. It really kind of very sunny, very upbeat, an intriguing absence of dark shadows or anything kind of slightly lurking under the surface. There's a weird thing with Camel, you just get this sense that what you see is what you get, everything's on show. And it sort of, it creeps towards the bland at times because of that, but then they pull it back from that. And I don't want to go into too much detail because I do want to do a Camel appreciation video of some kind, of collection special, so I'll kind of save my more extensive ramblings for another day. But yeah, that was a good one to get hold of, Rain Dances by Camel. This next one was a bit of a grail. Got this from Heightside Records. Again, this was in their box of new arrivals, and it's One World by John Martin, which I've long had on CD, long been after a copy of this. This comes from the mid-1970s, I think, or maybe the late 1970s, when he'd gone through the very, very far-out freeform stuff that he'd done a bit earlier in the decade. Not freeform territory again, but he was using a lot of Echoplex, guitar echo stuff going on. Ambient is the word I'm looking for, actually. Moving towards a more ambient sound, very spacey, very Eno-esque. Although I don't think Eno is on this record. Again, I'm going to do a John Martin collection special, so I'll save the ramblings on him for another day. But really, really chuffed to get this one. It's on Island. So yeah, that cost me maybe, I think it was at least £12, but I was happy to pay it because it was a bit of a grail for me, that one. Just 2 more. This next one, the debut album by Stephen Tinton Duffy, the guy who originally founded Duran Duran, and then he left the band to form another group called the Lilac Time, who were quite different from Duran Duran. They were more, I don't know, they had a more British indie sound, you know, brass arrangements, a more kind of acoustic kind of vibe to them. But this record, this is more kind of what you might think of as classic mid-1980s pop music, really. It sounds a bit like the Pet Shop Boys. Occasionally even sounds a bit sort of like mid-1980s Phil Collins, you know, with the brass and everything. Slightly generic. I don't think he was particularly happy with the record. There were 2 singles on it. I think it was Kiss Me and The Icing on the Cake were both maybe top 40 singles. but like I said, he wasn't particularly happy with it. I rather enjoyed it. I've given it a couple of spins, and you know, it's kind of witty, winsome, slightly melancholy English pop music. The final song, which is called The World at Large Alone, is my favourite song on the record because it kind of errs more towards the Lilac Time kind of sound, a bit more stripped back. You do get the sense from this record that he's maybe using technology perhaps a bit too much, because he's a very, very strong songwriter, beautiful tunes, lovely lyrics, and you sometimes think he doesn't necessarily need to use all the whiz-bang, you know, 80s stuff to get his musical point across. So, not sure where he went after this, whether he did start to strip things back a little bit or not, but I don't have many records by him in my collection. I've got one Lilac Time record, and I've got that solo album by him now, but yeah, an enjoyable record, and I shall be on the lookout for more records by Stephen Tinton Duffy. Wonderful stuff. And to finish with, just a reissue that I picked up from probably, I don't know, eBay, Amazon or something. A record I've long been after a copy of. I've heard it online, I might even have had it on CD in the past, you know. And it's a well-known record. I probably don't need to say too much about it, but it's Southern Comfort by the Crusaders, formerly known as the Jazz Crusaders. So we've got Wayne Henderson, oh, nice gatefold. Wayne Henderson, Wilton Felder, Joe Sample, Styx Hooper, and the fantastic Larry Carlton on guitar. So this is kind of jazz rock fusion, very, very smooth, very soulful actually, you know. I think later on they went into a bit more of a kind of Muzak-y vibe. This is definitely not Muzak. It's just great kind of grooving Saturday night party music. Really nice reissue. I think it was it Music on Vinyl? Can't quite remember now what it was. Let me show you the label. No, it's just on MCA Rainbow, nothing special. But yeah, I was pleased to get that into the collection at last after a long time. So there we go, job done. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to be back before too long. Take care, folks. Bye bye.